Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well, thank you for joining me again. You know, before I go into the context of this video, I want to show you a picture. And this is this one here. This, of course, is Nigel Farage. He looks a bit younger, doesn't he? This picture was taken by me about 10 years ago now, something like that, in a pub. That pub was called the Old Charles in Cliftonville in Kent. And it was one of the many, we'll call it, drinking establishments that Nigel was going round at the time, talking to members of the public, absolute crowds of them, in his position as leader of UKIP. In 2015, 2016, I can't bloody remember now, it all melds into one, as leader of UKIP, he came down to what was then the South Thanet seat, and he wanted to be our MP, or was going to stand as MP for South Thanet. And I remember seeing him literally everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And he lost. He certainly lost. And one of the reasons was, I think, that the establishment didn't want him in, and they threw everything in the kitchen sink at this seat. And we ended up with a Conservative MP called Craig McKinley. And Craig McKinley is the one that's now known as the bionic MP, who lost his arms and his legs to sepsis. Awful, awful. And he's doing very well from what I'm led to believe. What happened with Nigel after? Well, he buggered off, didn't he? He left UKIP and went and pursued whatever it is he pursued. And UKIP duly fell to pieces. And, you know, there's lots of information coming out about that now. And those of us, me included, that want political change, thought to ourselves, right, okay, what now? I'm homeless politically. I don't know which, all I want is something to turn up, something to show itself, which will save our country. Because if we get much more of the nonsense that we've got right now, we are in a whole heap of trouble. Short time later, a matter of a few years, along comes the Brexit Party, and out comes Nigel Farage yet again. We're going to get Brexit done, and we're going to deliver political reform for this country, where it's so needed by so many. And again, for somebody like me, political reform. Yeah, you get behind the Brexit Party and, you know, you throw your heart and soul into it. I actually remember, and we'll speak about him in a minute, listening to Ben Habib delivering a speech at the Walpole Bay Hotel, again in Cliftonville, to a crowd, which had me in it, telling us all about how our membership of the European Union was a bad thing, and I still agree to that to this day. I can't ever change my mind on that. I believe personally we should be able to trade with Europe, but having that political control over a sovereign nation, you know, people that aren't elected, it just doesn't wash with me. Anyway, general election comes along. What does Nigel do? Stands down a large percentage of his candidates because he had apparently done a deal with Boris. And I remember at the time there was a conveniently placed picture of the two of them where they were having dinner at a restaurant. They've known each other for years. Let's not beat around the bush. When you move around those circles that you do, you will know one another for years. And when everything was over and done with the Brexit Party, what happened? Nigel went to pursue whatever career he wanted. You're seeing a pattern. Now we come to recent times, we come to the Reform Party, and Nigel didn't immediately appear. The Reform Party was run by Richard Tice. We had Ben Habib and everybody else that we know about in the background. Now the Reform Party, if you check Companies House, really is the Brexit Party. It was renamed in 2019, I think. If you check Companies House, you'll actually see that there. And it got to a point and it was polling very well, and all of a sudden back comes Nigel. 5 MPs in the general election, 5 MPs in the House of Commons. Yeah, the platform to do great things, they said. Yeah. Now what's happening? Zahir Yousaf comes in, the chairman of the Reform Party. You can't get rid of him. You can't get rid of Nigel. And the very simple fact is, again, have a look at Companies House and that will tell you everything you want to know. Nigel and Zahir Yousaf, well, let's call him his name, shall we? Mohammed Zahidin Yousaf, are directors of Reform 2025, which has in itself a significant controlling interest over the Reform political party. You can't get rid of them. And that didn't take me long to work that out. And then you get ladies like this being stood in by-elections, in this case Runcorn. Good luck to her. But the problem is, if you look into the political backgrounds of these individuals, yeah, not great. A Tory. Not just a Tory, ended up out of the Tory party, then tried to get herself back in again so she could vote on the leadership. And then there's certain things about her turning up at events to do with refugees, which really flies in the face of what we believe, what genuine reformers believe about what we want for this country. It doesn't work. Well, let's turn back to Nigel, shall we, for a second. Who is Nigel? What's he about? Everything I've just told you for the last nearly 7 minutes is based on my own experience and my own opinion. Purely based on what I see. I might be a cab driver, but I'm certainly not stupid. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. Now, Ben Habib did a video, and I subscribed to Ben Habib's channel this morning. It's very informative. This video lays out the truth of Nigel Farage, what went on behind the scenes, and why we are where we are right now. And it certainly instills an awful lot of worry in anybody that believes in a genuine cause of reform. It's abundantly clear that Nigel Farage is not the answer to our prayers. Reform, at least in its current form, is not the answer to our prayers. And there's an awful lot of people out there that are going to vote reform because they believe that there's no other choice. It's the best of a bad bunch. Well, personally, I don't like rotten bananas. I go and buy a new bunch. We have 4 years. You look at how quickly reform gathered pace when they started motoring along. Pretty quick. With the right backing, with the right temperament, the right tempo at least, and a lot of hard work, is it possible for something or somebody to come along and save this country in that amount of time? I believe it could be with the right attitude. And you've got to look as well at the last general election. There was a good 40% of our voting population didn't even bother to turn up. We need to really concentrate on them, get them out the door, find out why. Why didn't they vote? Was there a reason? Was there a problem, a difficulty? Why? Everybody, as many people in this country, need to politically engage if we're going to get this job done. Now, to explain everything, as the title of this video is called, have a look at that video of Ben Habib's. Play it a couple of times, listen. The guy comes across as genuine to me and oozes of sincerity to me. I can't see any agenda in there other than trying to do the best for this union of countries that we all inhabit. And at the end of the day, that's the future, not only for us, but for our kids as well. We need to have an open mind with this and see where it goes. Anyway, I'll leave a link in the description for that video. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching as always. Have a look at these videos that have just popped up. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.